I came home from my fourth round of chemotherapy to find my dog's bowls gone from the kitchen floor and my parents loading designer luggage into a car for a cruise I had supposedly donated $8,000 for. If you have ever been betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect you when you were at your most vulnerable, subscribe and tell me where you are watching from. My name is Emma. I am 28 years old and I work as a freelance graphic designer. On March 12, 2024, I sat in an infusion chair for 6 hours while poison dripped into my veins to kill the stage 2 breast cancer trying to kill me. And that was the same day my parents decided my golden retriever Bailey was worth more to them as cash than as the reason I was still fighting to survive. Let me rewind so you understand exactly who I am dealing with. I was diagnosed 4 months earlier, the week before Thanksgiving. The mammogram came back suspicious. The biopsy came back malignant. I sat in an oncologist's office 2 days before the holiday and heard the words aggressive, lymph nodes, and chemotherapy before surgery. I lived alone in a small one-bedroom apartment in Portland, Oregon. I had been freelancing full-time for 3 years. My insurance was decent but not great. I had some savings but not enough. My parents lived 20 minutes away in a house I helped them avoid foreclosure on 2 years earlier, when my dad lost his job and my mom's online boutique collapsed. I gave them $11,000. They promised to pay me back. I never saw a cent. That is the pattern you need to know. When I was 16, I saved up $800 from a summer job to buy a laptop for college applications. My mom borrowed it to pay for my dad's fishing trip with his brother. She said it was for his mental health. I filled out applications on the school library computers. When I was 23 and landed my first big freelance contract worth $4,000, my dad asked to borrow $2,000 to fix the transmission on his truck. He bought a motorcycle instead. He still has it. So when I called them crying the night of my diagnosis, and my mom said they would be there for me, I wanted to believe her. They came to my first oncology appointment. My mom cried. My dad hugged me. They said I could count on them. Then, my mom asked if I had looked into disability payments yet, because she read that cancer patients can get money, and maybe I could help them catch up on their credit card bills. I was still numb from the diagnosis. I said I would look into it. 2 weeks later, I was sorting out my treatment plan and my financial survival plan. I worked from home, so I could keep taking freelance jobs between chemo sessions. My savings would cover about 4 months of rent and bills if I was careful. After that, I would need to dig into credit or hope I was healthy enough to work more. My parents called and asked if I wanted to move in with them during treatment so they could take care of me. I considered it for about 10 seconds. Then I remembered the laptop. The motorcycle. The $11,000? I said no, but thank you. I said I had Bailey, and he was all I needed. Bailey was a 4-year-old golden retriever I had adopted 2 years earlier from a rescue. He cost me a $300 adoption fee. Plus, I bought all his supplies, his vet care, his food, his training classes. I had every receipt. He was not just a pet. He was my routine, my reason to get out of bed, my comfort on the bad days. When I came home from that first biopsy, he put his head in my lap and stayed there for an hour. My oncologist told me cancer patients with dogs have better treatment outcomes. Lower stress, better mental health, more reasons to keep fighting. Bailey was my reason. My parents met Bailey once, maybe twice. My mom said he shed too much. My dad mostly ignored him. I started chemo in early January. The protocol was dose-dense, which means every 2 weeks for 4 rounds, then a different cocktail after that. Each session took about 6 hours in the infusion center. Then I would feel okay for a day. Then the nausea and fatigue would hit like a truck for 4 or 5 days. My friend Nadia drove me to the first 2 sessions. I hired a dog walker to come twice a day on the bad weeks. I meal prepped when I had energy. I kept working when my brain allowed it. I did not ask my parents for help. I knew better. But they started showing up. My mom came by with soup after my second session. It was canned soup and she stayed for 20 minutes, but it was something. My dad texted me a gif of a cat wearing a superhero cape with the words, "You got this." I felt a tiny crack in my armor. Maybe they were trying. Maybe this crisis had changed them. After my third chemo session in late February, my mom came over and offered to take Bailey for a walk because I was too nauseous to move. I said yes. She brought him back an hour later and he seemed happy. She asked how much the dog walker cost. I told her $150 a week on chemo weeks. She whistled. She said that added up. She said if I ever needed help, she could walk him for free. I thanked her but did not take her up on it. I could not pinpoint why, but my gut said no. Then came March 12th, my fourth session. Nadia was out of town for work, so I took a rideshare to the infusion center at 8 in the morning. I texted my parents the night before to let them know I would be unreachable most of the day, just in case of emergency. My mom replied with a heart emoji and said she would check on Bailey for me. I said that was not necessary. The dog walker was coming at noon and again at 5. She insisted. She said she was in the neighborhood anyway, and she missed him. I was too tired to argue. I said fine, but please do not let him out without his leash. He was a runner. She sent a thumbs up. I should have known. The infusion went long. My veins were getting harder to access, so the nurse had to try 3 times. I did not get unhooked until almost 3 in the afternoon. I felt shaky and cold and wanted my couch and my dog. I got home at 4:30 p.m. I unlocked my apartment door and knew immediately something was wrong. No Bailey, no clicking of nails on the floor, no tail wagging, no golden fur ball shoving his nose into my legs. His bowls were gone from the kitchen. The water dish, the food dish, the little mat underneath. His bed was gone from the corner of the living room. I walked to my bedroom. His crate was gone. The basket of toys was gone. Every single trace of my dog had been erased. I stood in my living room with my coat still on and my bag still on my shoulder, and I could not breathe. I called my mom. It rang 4 times, then voicemail. I called my dad. Same thing. Voicemail. I called the dog walker. She picked up on the second ring. She said she had come by at noon like scheduled, but no one answered and Bailey was not inside. She said she texted me, but I had been in the chair with my phone off. I checked my texts. She had sent 3 messages between noon and 12:30 asking if I had taken Bailey somewhere. I tried my parents again. Nothing. Then I saw it. On my kitchen counter, folded in half, was a piece of notebook paper. I picked it up. My mom's handwriting. It said, "Emma, we found Bailey a good home with a family who has a big yard and kids. You are too sick to take care of him right now, and we did not want you to worry. We used the rehoming fee to help cover some of our expenses since we have been spending so much time helping you. We are going on a little trip to recharge. We will call you when we get back. Feel better. Love Mom and Dad, rehoming fee." I read it 3 times. They sold my dog. While I was getting chemotherapy, my parents took my dog, sold him, and pocketed the money. I looked at the date on the note. It was dated that morning. I called my mom again. Straight to voicemail this time. I called my dad. Voicemail. I sat down on the floor where Bailey's bed used to be and tried not to throw up. Then I heard a car door slam outside. I looked out the window. My parents were in the parking lot of my building, loading suitcases into their SUV. I ran outside. I did not even close my door behind me. My mom saw me coming and waved like nothing was wrong. "Emma, hi, sweetie," she said. "How was treatment?" "Where is Bailey?" I said. My mom glanced at my dad. He was strapping a duffel bag to the roof rack. "Did you get our note?" she asked. "Where is my dog?" I said again. She sighed like I was being difficult. "Honey, we explained it in the note. We found him a wonderful family. You are in no shape to be taking care of an animal right now. It was the responsible thing to do." "You sold my dog," I said. "We rehomed him," she corrected. And yes, the family paid a rehoming fee to make sure they were serious. That is standard. "How much?" I asked. My dad turned around. "Emma, do not make this a thing. We did you a favor." "How much did you sell my dog for?" I repeated. My mom pursed her lips. $2,000, and we are using it to take a cruise to decompress. We have been under a lot of stress helping you." "Helping me," I said. "You have not helped me." You walked my dog once. We have been emotionally available, my mom snapped. Do you have any idea how hard it is to watch your daughter go through cancer? I stared at her. You took my dog while I was getting poison put in my body, and you sold him so you could go on a cruise, I said slowly. My dad crossed his arms. We also used some of your savings, he said. You have that joint account with your mom from when you were in high school, remember? We saw you were not using it much, and we knew you would want to help us since we have been so supportive. We took out $6,000. The cruise is $8,200 total, so we put in some of our own money too. I forgot I still had that old account. I had opened it when I was 17 because my mom said it would teach me financial responsibility. She was on it as a co-owner. I had not looked at it in years, but I had been auto-depositing a little freelance money into it as a secondary savings. Last time I checked, about a year ago, there was around $7,000 in there. You stole $6,000 from me, I said. It is not stealing if I am on the account, my mom said. Legally, that is joint money. And we are calling it a donation. You donated to our wellness. We need this trip, Emma. Your illness has been very hard on us. Something inside me went completely cold. I looked at my mother, who was wearing a new jacket I had never seen before. I looked at my father, who had a brand new set of luggage. Get in the car, my dad said to my mom. We need to get to the airport. Wait, I said. Who did you sell Bailey to? I need their information. My mom waved a hand. Some family from Craigslist. They came this morning and picked him up. They were very nice. You sold my dog to strangers on Craigslist, I said. We vetted them, she said. They have kids and a yard. He will be happier. Give me their names, I said. Give me their contact information right now. We did not keep it, my dad said. It was all handled through the ad. My mom climbed into the passenger seat. My dad got in the driver's side. We will send you a postcard, my mom called through the window. Try to rest. You look terrible. They drove away. I stood in the parking lot in the spot where my dog's bowls used to sit on my kitchen floor, and I realized I was shaking. Not from the chemo. From rage, I went inside. I locked the door. I sat on my couch, and I made a list. First, I logged into that old joint account. The balance was $1,047. They had taken $6,000 3 days earlier on March 9th. The memo said withdrawal for travel. Second, I pulled up my email and searched for every receipt, every medical record, every piece of documentation I had about Bailey. Adoption papers in my name, vet bills in my name, training class invoices, purchase receipts for his crate, his leash, his food, his microchip registration. All of it was mine. He was my dog. Legally, financially, emotionally. Third, I called Nadia. She picked up on the first ring. Hey, how did chemo go? I did not answer that. Nadia, my parents sold Bailey and stole $6,000 from me to go on a cruise, and I need to know if I am crazy or if I can actually do something about this. There was a pause. Say that again, she said. I told her everything. The note, the parking lot, the bank account, the Craigslist strangers. When I finished, Nadia was quiet for 3 seconds. Then she said, I am coming over, and we are going to burn their lives to the ground. She arrived 30 minutes later with her laptop, a notebook, and a bag of takeout I could not eat but appreciated. Nadia was a paralegal. She had worked in family law and now worked in civil litigation. If anyone could help me figure out if I had a case, it was her. We sat at my kitchen table and she opened her notebook. Okay, she said. Let's build this. Let's call it Operation Bring Bailey Home. She wrote it at the top of the page and underlined it twice. First question, she said. Do you want your dog back, or do you want your money back, or both? Both, I said. But if I can only get one, I want Bailey. Noted, she said. Second question, do you want your parents charged criminally, or just held civilly liable? I did not know how to answer that. What are my options, I asked. She tapped her pen on the table. Okay, the dog is legally yours. All the paperwork is in your name. He is your property. They took your property without your consent and sold it. That is theft. That is also conversion, which is a civil tort. You can file a police report for theft, and you can sue them in civil court for the value of the dog plus emotional distress. The bank account is trickier, she continued. Your mom is on the account, so technically she had legal access. But if you can prove the account was funded entirely by you and intended as your savings, and she took the money without your knowledge or consent, that could be elder abuse in reverse or financial exploitation of a vulnerable person. I am not elderly, I said. No, but you are undergoing cancer treatment. You are medically vulnerable. Oregon law recognizes financial exploitation of vulnerable people. It is a stretch, but it is worth exploring. She made a note. Third, she said, do you have any documentation of past loans or money they have not paid back? I nodded. The $11,000 for the foreclosure. Texts and emails about it. Get all of that together, she said. It establishes a pattern. She looked up at me. Emma, I need to make sure you are ready for this. If you go after them legally, this is going to get ugly. They are going to say terrible things. They are going to play victim. Your extended family might get involved. I do not care, I said. They sold my dog while I was at Chemo. Good, she said. Then let's start with the police report and work backward to find Bailey. That night, I filed a police report online for theft of property. I listed Bailey's microchip number, his adoption records, and the value of the dog as $2,000 based on the rehoming fee my parents admitted to taking. The next morning, March 13th, an officer called me. Her name was Officer Ramirez. She sounded young and tired. She said she had reviewed my report and wanted to clarify a few things. I walked her through it again. I sent her photos of the adoption paperwork, the vet records, the microchip registration. Everything had my name, my address, my signature. And your parents took the dog while you were at a medical appointment, she confirmed. Yes, I said. I was receiving chemotherapy for breast cancer. There was a pause on the line. Okay, Officer Ramirez said. I am going to escalate this. This is not just a he said, she said pet custody thing. This is theft, and the circumstances are aggravating. Give me 24 hours. Thank you, I said. After we hung up, I went back to my computer and started searching. Nadia had suggested I look for the Craigslist ad. If my parents had posted Bailey, maybe it was still up, or maybe I could find a cached version. I searched Portland Craigslist for golden retriever, for rehoming, for adoption fee. I went back 2 weeks in the listings. On March 10th, I found it. The headline said, Loving Golden Retriever Needs New Home, Family Emergency. The ad had a photo of Bailey. It was a picture I had posted on my Instagram 6 months earlier. They had screenshotted it. The text said, 4-year-old neutered male golden retriever, up to date on shots, great with kids, needs a home ASAP due to owner's health crisis. Rehoming fee $2,000 to ensure serious inquiries only. There was a phone number listed. I did not recognize it, but I screenshotted everything. The ad had been deleted, but I found it in a cached Google search. I called the number. It rang twice, then a woman answered. Hello, she said. Hi, I said. I am calling about the golden retriever you adopted recently. Oh, she said. Yeah, we got him last week. Is something wrong? My name is Emma, I said. That dog's name is Bailey, and he is mine. The people who sold him to you were my parents, and they did it without my knowledge or permission while I was undergoing cancer treatment. Silence. I kept going. I have all the paperwork proving he is mine. I filed a police report. I do not want to make this hard for you, but I need my dog back. The woman made a sound like she was covering the phone. I heard muffled voices. Then a man's voice came on. This is Greg, he said. Look, we paid $2,000 for this dog. We have kids who are already attached. If he is really yours, we want to see proof. I can send you everything right now, I said. Adoption papers, vet records, microchip registration, all in my name. Send it, he said. If this checks out, we will work with you, but we want our money back. I will get you your money back, I said. I promise. I sent him a PDF with every document. 10 minutes later, he called me back. This is messed up, he said. We thought we were helping a sick person rehome her dog. They told us you were too sick to care for him. I am sick, I said. But I did not want to rehome him. They stole him. Greg sighed. Okay. We will bring him back. But we want that $2,000, and we want it before we hand him over. Understood, I said. I am working on it. We arranged to meet in 3 days, on March 16th, at a park near their house. That gave me time to figure out how to get $2,000 I did not have. I called Nadia. She said she would lend it to me and I could pay her back when I sued my parents. I wanted to cry. Instead, I said thank you about 15 times. On March 14th, Officer Ramirez called me back. Good news, she said. I spoke with the couple who purchased your dog. They confirmed your story and are cooperating. I also contacted your parents. What did they say? I asked. Your mother said the dog was in joint custody and that you verbally agreed to rehome him due to your health. Your father said you are overreacting and that this is a family matter. I never agreed to anything, I said. I believe you, Officer Ramirez said. Based on the evidence, I am recommending the district attorney file charges for theft in the 3rd degree. The value is over $1,000, so it qualifies. I am also recommending a charge for criminal mischief because they took the dog's belongings as well. What happens next? I asked. The DA will review it and decide whether to prosecute. In the meantime, I documented everything in the report. If you pursue civil action, this report will support your case. Thank you, I said. On March 16th at 2 p.m., Nadia and I met Greg and his family at Laurelhurst Park. They pulled up in a minivan. Greg got out first. Then his wife opened the back door. Bailey jumped out. He saw me and lost his mind. He sprinted across the grass, leash dragging, and slammed into my legs so hard I almost fell over. I knelt down, and he licked my face and whined and wiggled and pressed his entire body against me like he was afraid I would disappear. I held on to him and cried. Nadia handed Greg an envelope with $2,000 in cash. We had gone to the bank that morning and pulled it from her savings. Greg looked uncomfortable. I am really sorry, he said. We had no idea. It is not your fault, I said. Thank you for bringing him back. His wife wiped her eyes. Our kids were upset, but we told them the truth. We said sometimes people lie and we have to do the right thing even when it is hard. You did the right thing, I said. We left. Nadia drove. Bailey sat in the back seat with his head on my shoulder the whole way home. When we got to my apartment, I put his bowls back down. I had kept them in a closet. I set up his bed, his crate, his toys. He did not leave my side for the rest of the day. That night, my dad called. I let it go to voicemail. He left a message. Emma, we heard you called the cops on us. Are you serious right now? We are your parents. You are being ridiculous. Call us back so we can talk about this like adults. I deleted it. My mom texted the next morning. You are going to regret this. We were trying to help you. You are sick and not thinking clearly. I screenshotted it and sent it to Nadia. She replied, keep everything. Do not respond. On March 18th, I went to see an attorney. Her name was Linda Tran. She practiced family law and civil litigation. Nadia had recommended her. I brought a binder. Nadia had helped me organize it the night before. Tab 1, all of Bailey's paperwork. Adoption contract, vet records, microchip registration, receipts for supplies, training certificates. Tab 2, bank statements showing the joint account, my deposits, and my parents' withdrawal of $6,000. Tab 3, email and text records of past loans. The $11,000 for the foreclosure. The $2,000 for the truck. Screenshots of me asking for repayment and them ignoring me or making excuses. Tab 4, the Craigslist ad, the police report, and the note my parents left on my counter. Tab 5, medical records proving my cancer diagnosis and chemo schedule, plus a letter from my oncologist stating that pet ownership is therapeutic and recommended for my treatment plan. Linda flipped through it. She did not say anything for 3 minutes. Then she looked up. This is one of the most organized client intakes I have ever seen. I had help, I said. She closed the binder. Here is what I can do. I can file a civil suit for conversion of property, theft, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The conversion is for Bailey. The theft is for the $6,000. The emotional distress is for doing this while you were undergoing chemotherapy. I can also file for a restraining order if you feel unsafe. and I can demand they repay you the $2,000 you spent to retrieve your dog, the $6,000 they took from the account, and the $11,000 from the prior loan, plus interest and attorney fees. What are the chances we win? I asked. With this documentation, she said, I would say 90% on the conversion and theft. The emotional distress is harder to quantify, but given the medical context, a jury would be sympathetic. The old loan is trickier because it is older and you do not have a written contract, but the texts help. Do it, I said. She nodded. I will draft a demand letter first. We send it to them, give them 10 days to respond. If they pay, we are done. If they do not, we file suit. How much is this going to cost me? I asked. She quoted me her retainer. It was $1,500. I did not have it. I told her that. She thought for a moment. I will take payments. You pay me $500 now and we work out the rest. If we win, they pay your attorney fees anyway. I paid her $500 on my credit card. On March 20th, Linda sent the demand letter via certified mail and email. It was 3 pages long. It outlined the facts, cited Oregon statutes for theft and conversion, and demanded the following: immediate repayment of $6,000 taken from the joint account, immediate repayment of $2,000 spent to retrieve the dog, repayment of $11,000 from the 2022 loan with 6% interest, totaling $11,660, a written apology, agreement to cease all contact unless initiated by me, total demand, $19,660, plus attorney fees of $1,500, for a grand total of $21,160. They had 10 days to respond. On March 23rd, my mom called me 16 times. I did not answer. She left a voicemail. You are suing us? Your own parents? After everything we have done for you? You are going to destroy this family over a dog and some money? We are not paying a dime. See you in court. I forwarded the voicemail to Linda. She replied, perfect. She just admitted it is about the dog and the money. Keep her talking if she reaches out again. My dad sent an email on March 25th. It was long and rambling. He said I was ungrateful. He said they had sacrificed so much raising me. He said I was clearly not in my right mind because of the chemo, and he was going to ask the court to appoint someone to make decisions for me. I forwarded it to Linda. She replied, he just threatened guardianship over you, a competent adult. This helps us. On March 30th, the 10-day deadline passed. My parents did not pay. They did not apologize. They did not respond, except to say they would see me in court. Linda filed the lawsuit on April 6th. The case was Emma Caldwell versus Richard and Diane Caldwell. Civil suit for conversion, theft, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and unjust enrichment. They were served on April 5th. My mom posted on Facebook that night. She said her daughter was suing her own parents while they were trying to support her through cancer and that she was heartbroken. She asked for prayers. 17 people commented with heart emojis and messages like, I am so sorry and you are such good parents. My aunt, my mom's older sister, commented, there are 2 sides to every story. Then my cousin, my aunt's daughter, replied to that comment. Aunt Diane, did you actually sell Emma's dog while she was at chemo? My mom deleted the whole post 10 minutes later. My cousin messaged me privately. She said, I do not know what is going on, but I know your mom, and I believe you. Let me know if you need anything. I thanked her. It helped more than I expected. The case moved slowly. There was a preliminary hearing on May 10th. My parents showed up with a lawyer they clearly could not afford. He was young and looked annoyed. Linda presented our evidence: the binder, the police report, the vet records, the bank statements. My parents' lawyer argued that the joint account gave my mother legal access and that the dog was rehomed in my best interest. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Judge Patricia Kwan, looked at my parents over her glasses. Let me make sure I understand, she said. You took your daughter's dog and sold it on Craigslist while she was receiving chemotherapy. then withdrew $6,000 from an account she funded and used that money to go on a cruise? My parents' lawyer cleared his throat. Your Honor, my clients were under significant emotional distress. Answer the question, Judge Kwan said. Yes, the lawyer said quietly. Judge Kwan looked at me. Ms. Caldwell, do you have your dog back? Yes, Your Honor, I said. I had to pay $2,000 to the family who bought him. She made a note. This will proceed to trial. In the meantime, I am issuing a temporary order that the defendants are to have no contact with the plaintiff except through legal counsel. She banged the gavel. My parents stared at me as we left the courtroom. I did not look back. The trial was set for July 15th. I had 2 more rounds of chemo in April and May. Nadia drove me to both. Bailey stayed with a neighbor who loved him and did not charge me. I finished chemo on May 28th. I rang the bell at the infusion center. The nurses clapped. I cried. Bailey was waiting for me at home with a new bandana Nadia had bought him that said, "Cancer cannot kill love." I took a photo of him wearing it and posted it on Instagram with the caption, "We made it." Thank you to everyone who supported us. I did not mention my parents. I did not have to. On July 15th, we went to trial. It was a bench trial, which meant no jury, just Judge Kwan. Linda called me to the stand first. I told the story, the diagnosis, the treatment, the day I came home to find Bailey gone. My parents' lawyer cross-examined me. He asked if my parents had ever expressed concern about my ability to care for Bailey. No, I said. He asked if I had ever missed a vet appointment or neglected Bailey in any way. No, I said. I have every receipt and record. He was always cared for. He asked if I had given my mother permission to be on the joint bank account. Yes, I said. When I was 17. I had not used that account as my primary account in over 10 years. He sat down. Linda called Greg, the man who had bought Bailey, as a witness. He testified that my parents had misrepresented the situation and that he returned the dog as soon as he learned the truth. Linda entered the Craigslist ad, the police report, the bank statements, and the binder into evidence. Then my parents took the stand. My mother cried. She said she thought she was helping me. She said she did not think I could handle a dog while I was so sick. Linda asked her if she had asked me before selling Bailey. No, my mom admitted. Linda asked her if she had asked me before taking $6,000. My mom hesitated. The account was joint, she said. Did you ask? Linda repeated. No, my mom said. My father was worse. He was angry. He said I was spoiled and ungrateful. He said they had raised me and I owed them. Linda asked if he had paid back the $11,000 from 2022. We ran into hard times, he said. That is not what I asked, Linda said. Did you pay it back? No, he said. The trial took 4 hours. Judge Kwan took a recess and came back 30 minutes later with her ruling. She found in my favor on all counts. She ordered my parents to pay me $6,000 for the unauthorized withdrawal, $2,000 for the cost to retrieve Bailey, and $11,660 for the unpaid loan with interest. She also awarded me $1,500 in attorney fees and $1,000 in damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Total judgment, $22,160. She also made the no-contact order permanent unless I initiated contact. My parents had 60 days to pay. They did not pay. On September 20th, Linda filed for wage garnishment. My dad was back at work part-time. My mom had a job at a department store. We garnished 15% of both their paychecks. It would take them years to pay it all, but I did not care. Every 2 weeks, I got a check for $140 or so. I put it in a savings account I titled Bailey's Future. I also reported the outstanding judgment to the credit bureaus. It tanked their credit score. They could not buy a new car. They could not get approved for another credit card. The cruise they took became the most expensive vacation of their lives. My mom tried to reach out once in October. She sent a letter to my apartment. It said she was sorry and that she missed me and could we please talk. I did not respond. My cousin told me later that my mom complained at Thanksgiving that I had ruined their finances and their reputation. My aunt, the one who said there are two sides to every story, apparently replied, "You sold her dog while she was getting chemo. What did you think would happen?" On December 18th, 2024, I had my final post-chemo scan. No evidence of disease. I was in remission. Bailey came with me to the parking lot after the appointment. I sat in my car and hugged him and cried. That night, Nadia came over with champagne. We did not drink much because I was still recovering, but we toasted. "To Bailey," she said. "To Bailey," I said. "And to you," she added. "You survived cancer, and you survived your parents. I do not know which was harder," I said. She laughed. A few weeks later, I was cleaning out my closet and found Bailey's old collar, the one he was wearing the day I adopted him. It was too small for him now, but I had kept it. I hung it on a hook by my front door. Every time I left the apartment or came home, I saw it. It reminded me that some things are worth fighting for, and some people will never understand that. I have not spoken to my parents since the trial. I do not plan to. I heard through my cousin that they are still making payments. They will be paying me until sometime in 2027. I used the first few checks to pay Nadia back. The rest is growing in that savings account. Bailey is 5 now. He is healthy, happy, and still my reason to get up every morning. I am healthy too. I finished radiation in the fall. My hair is growing back. I am taking on freelance clients again. I have a new therapist who specializes in family estrangement. She told me that sometimes the people who hurt us the most are the ones who were supposed to protect us, and that choosing yourself is not selfish. It is survival. I think about that a lot. I also think about the fact that my parents chose a cruise over me. They chose 2 weeks of tropical drinks and excursions over their daughter's health, her peace, and her dog. That tells me everything I need to know. I do not owe them forgiveness. I do not owe them a relationship. I do not owe them anything. I owe myself peace. I owe Bailey the life he deserves. I owe Nadia a lifetime of friendship and gratitude. And I owe anyone listening to this the truth. Family is not a free pass to abuse you. Love is not supposed to come with a price tag. And you are allowed to walk away from people who only show up when they want something. If you have ever been betrayed by people who were supposed to love you, drop a comment and tell me where you are watching from. And if this story helped you, feel less alone, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Bailey is asleep at my feet right now. His collar is still hanging by the door. And I am finally home.